even if you do not sell direct to consumer, you still want your brand known by the end user. Welcome to Surge. This week, we're going to be talking about the difference between B2B and B2C content as it pertains to e-commerce. And we get this a lot, right? Because we have clients that are strictly B2B, strictly B2C, and some that do both. And we often find ourselves writing a piece of content for them because, again, we've done our homework, we've done our keyword research, and we see that individuals are searching for this, and there's really good opportunity for us to rank and drive some organic traffic through this content. And the client comes back and says, oh, well, that's really B2C targeted, and my primary customer base is B2B. So tell me from your experience, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the client telling you that this is B2B content, not B2C content, therefore we can't use it?
So we're always doing our research when we write pieces of content for clients, no matter where it is. It's whether it's a blog, whether it's their product descriptions. We know that what we've researched is relevant to what users want to find on Google. Mm-hmm. So what we say is this is clearly important to the consumers, and that means that whoever you're selling to, it's important to their clients. Yeah. And if they're going to land on your page, they're going to say, okay, so these are the brands in this industry. They're going to know these brands by name, mm-hmm. and then request them specifically. So you do want your client base, your consumer base, to be requesting you by name to the businesses that they go to.
Absolutely. So even if you do not sell direct to consumer, you still want your brand known by the end user, right? So, and a perfect example of this is, let's say I want to hire a professional painting company to come and repaint this entire office, right? I'm not the one that's actually going to physically go out or go online and purchase tons of paint to cover this entire office. I'm going to hire somebody to do that. So that is that B2B company is now going to go and purchase directly from the manufacturer, from the supplier, right? But however, myself as the end user, as the customer, I know the brands that are out there, and I can request, I want Valspar paint, or I want Behr, right? Because I know of these brands. So really is you really want to build your brand up enough where, yes, you might not sell direct to the consumer. However, the consumer still knows who you are. And that makes a world of a difference, because we know that now, especially when it comes to online marketing, building a brand is more important than ever. Really, there should be no difference in the content, right? The content should still be informative to both the supplier, which will most likely be more educated in the matter, and the consumer, who's really looking for that information. Really, the only thing that changes here are your calls to action. If you are a B2B company and strictly B2B, your call to actions that live within this content that's being created is now going to determine whether it's B2B focused or B2C, right? So if I land on a page that is it's a B2B company, but they're answering all my questions, so now I'm familiar with the brand, I just can't purchase from them directly. That's fine. However, if you do both, then yeah, of course you want to have both call to actions for both B2B and B2C. That's really the difference. But at the end of the day, I can continue creating that B2B focused content, which it's in reality, the reason why you can't just focus on that is because you won't get the visibility. You won't get the traffic. The search volume just isn't there. The majority of the search volume is going to come from those more uneducated searches that are going to come from the end user, from the consumer. So you need to be able to provide content that goes from top to bottom, that covers every single area of focus. You want to be ultimately the authority figure within your industry, and you want to be the number one brand within your industry, regardless of whether you sell direct to consumer or business to business.
Those call to actions was a great point, because one of our recent clients said that they, have veterans in the field as well as newcomers. Mm-hmm. So it's not that they want to be the one to educate anybody and everybody, but they throw in industry terms to go with their calls to actions because that they know that other businesses are thinking like them. Mm-hmm. Oh, and also making it plain English so that when either B2C or some of these newcomers come onto the page, they're not feeling totally lost either.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
It's a balance of the two, really. And also, it's not just the end user of the product, but these companies are also using Google just like we do. They want a good user experience when they're on the website. They want to also be engaged with information about your product, whether in bullet point form or in video form. So really B2B, B2C, you're still trying to capture someone's attention on your website, and that's going to be done through good content marketing and good content.
Absolutely. And again, we're not saying that, the content does not need to be specifically targeted or oriented to your primary customer base, by no means. But it can't be just that. You cannot create this really extensive, informative, high-level content that not everybody's going to understand. Again, that is not going to help you increase your visibility. That is not going to help you increase your brand. So you need both content that will appeal directly to your customer base, which in this case may be other businesses, but you also want content that is now going to help you increase your brand awareness and increase your authority within that industry. And that's by creating content that goes after the direct to consumer market. That's about it. Again, if you're B2B, just B2B or just B2C or both, you need content that is spread throughout the entire industry. That's it. That's all we have for today. We'll see you guys next week.